Hey, what's up guys? Guardian here, coming to you guys with a video today, and I'd like to start off by saying Merry Christmas to everyone, and obviously Happy New Year very soon, as I'm planning to get this video out hopefully for Christmas Day, because this is a very special one to me. This is my old school classic Gold Paladin deck, and yeah, this was the first ever deck that I built in Vanguard. I think it was back in 2012 when I was in college. If you've seen my video about how I got into Vanguard and how I started, yeah, my friend in college told me about the game, and he saw an advertisement for it online, and yeah, he told me about it, and that's when I saw like Paladins, Royal Paladins. I got the IG trial deck, tried the game out, and yeah, I fell in love with it. So I looked more into the game, and I saw the Gold Paladins, and I thought, ooh, they look really cool. So instead of going like with the original Royal Paladin, I decided to just jump onto the newer stuff, which was the Gold Paladin with the limit break mechanic. And I saw like Garmor, I saw Ezel, and I thought these look cool. So I went with that one. So yeah, this is the same deck from back then. Not everything's the same card for card. I didn't own some of these cards back then, but when I was revisiting this deck, when I wanted to play it against my friends, just for nostalgia's sake. Yeah, I now have sort of like a more established deck build with this deck, but I still wanted to make it like fun as well, but it's more of a put together build, if you know what I mean. So yeah, let's start off and get into this. And we have here my Ezel sleeves, which I actually got these during the G era when I made the Ezel Stride deck back in 2016, I believe it was. But yeah, I thought it'd be more fitting to put them on the Limit Break era deck instead, obviously. So yeah, that is those are the Ezel sleeves that I got. But to start off with the grade 3s, we have here the Cross Ride, which is Blazing Lion Platinum Ezel. So yeah, the LB5 of Counterblast 3, and then 5 of your Gold Paladin rear guards get 5,000 power till the end of the turn. So the ultimate form of the Limit Break to get LB5, and yeah, getting a massive power boost on your entire field. So really, really cool. But like I said, I didn't own some of these cards. Platinum Ezel was unfortunately one of those cards that I didn't invest into back then because I was too focused on saving money up for Liberators back then. And yeah, because I know that Japan got Liberators, and I knew that we weren't going to be getting them for a good while, so I thought I'll use this time to save up my money as much as possible, and then get my 4 trial decks to get my 4 Gansalots, and then yeah, get the set as well. Which I also think I got on a Christmas, I think, as well. But that was another thing with Gold Paladin as well. I actually got my first ever booster box for Vanguard on the 2012 Christmas, I believe. Yeah, I think it was, yeah. So, yeah, Platinum Ezel, it was a card I didn't own, but I thought it would be fitting to at least put one of it into the deck. So any time that we do go back to this format to have a bit of nostalgia, it's really cool to be able to use the Cross Ride. Something of which I wasn't able to use too much back then since I didn't own it. But something that I did own was my 2 copies of Incandescent Lion Blond Ezel. And I only ever used 2 because I focused the deck around using Garmor and Ezel with the Superior Ride. And the cool thing with this is that I actually pulled one of these out of my booster box, and I think it was this one. I can slightly tell which one's mine because it had like a bit more of a sort of lighter tone to it, I think. But I think this is the one that I pulled out of the booster box. Yeah, but either way, 2 Ezel. It's all I really needed back then, and yeah, it was just such a fun card to play. Counterblast 2 for the Limit Break. Look at the top card of your deck, and if it's a Gold Paladin, you call it to an open rear guard circle, and then also your Ezel gains power equal to the unit's power that you call from the deck. So you had some really beefy Vanguard attacks back then, which was really, really fun. So yeah, Ezel got perfect guarded quite a lot. So yeah, so we have 2 copies of Ezel right there. And I've already mentioned him, but we also have Garmor, the trial deck grade 3, but he was also pretty solid as a unit. So for Counterblast 2, when he's placed on Vanguard, you could call a grade 2 or less Gold Paladin from your deck to a rearguard circle. So something cool you could do with Garmor is that you could actually call out the grade 2 Nemean Lion, which I don't believe I have in this deck, but it was quite nice back then because you could just call Nemean Lion, and then it was the Superior Interceptor, so you could then intercept with Nemean Lion, getting tongue-tied. But yeah, he gained the 5k shield when he intercepted, so it was like you were gaining a free +1 there, but also at the same time you were getting the Nemean Lion as a good defense as well for the superior intercept. So yeah, Garmon was a pretty solid card, and I thought 3 of them was enough to run in the deck, because I also wanted to run a couple of copies of the next grade 3, which we'll go into now. Oh yeah, the limit break for Garmon, by the way, was when it attacks a Vanguard, it just gets 5k. Very basic ability, but it was quite good to get some power columns going for your Vanguard, so yeah, definitely very, very nice. But the other grade 3 that I was talking about is going to be 2 copies of Battlefield Storm Sagramore. So yeah, this guy was very simple. Vanguard or Regard, when this unit attacks, you pay the cost of Counterblast 1. If you do, it gets 3,000 power. So yeah, not too much of him, but he really helped you with meeting good magic number columns and just all around a good attacker. And it was really cool to like see something like this, or just any grade 3 really, with your Ezel skill, because that means your Ezel got a 10,000 power boost, which is really, really nice. But yeah, I definitely wanted to run 2 copies of Sagramore in the deck. He's one of those nostalgic units for me. So you have 2 copies of him. So next we have the grade 2s. We are going to be running 4 copies of Knight of Superior Skills Bowmains. So yeah, Bowmains was the 10k vanilla back then. Really nice, especially like the rare version of him. Just sparkles everywhere. But yeah, he was really important because he was the one that you wanted to ride to get the superior ride skill of Criff to get your Ezel from the deck and do the superior ride. So yeah, 4 copies of Bowmains was definitely needed for that. But just having the 10k vanilla itself was also really good, so it was good either way. And for the next grade 2, something I definitely didn't have 4 copies of back then was 4 copies of Player of the Holy Boar Vivian. So yeah, Vivian, she was really expensive back then. I think she was like 10 or 12 each. Yeah, I think I was lucky to own 1 or 2, I think. I got 1 on eBay, and I think I pulled the other one from my booster box. So yeah, I only had 1 or 2, I think. But yeah, Vivian was just really nice for the Counterblast 1 when it gets boosted and it hits a Vanguard. You can look at the top card of your deck, and if it's a gold Paladin, you get to call it to an open Regard circle. So yeah, it just helps you generate more advantage, getting more pluses essentially. And the on-hit pressure really made it for a really good Vanguard as well, because it was Vanguard or Regard that you could use that skill. So yeah, definitely really, really powerful. Then to wrap the grade 2s up, we have the 3 copies of Mage of Calamity Trip. Yeah, this was the on-hit countercharger, so on Vanguard or Regard, when it hits a Vanguard, you can flip a face-down damage in your damage zone face up. So yeah, basically just a countercharger. But it's very handy to have because we did have quite a bit of counterblast here with the Sagramore, the Garmor, the Ezel, and the Vivian. So yeah, having some unflip options was definitely a nice card to have. So moving into the grade 1s now, we have 4 copies of Knight of Elegant Skills Gareth. Yeah, this is the 8k vanilla, and also is an important piece to have for Crimson Lion Cub Criff's skill to superior ride Ezel from the deck. So it had multiple applications, but just generally the 8k villas were always good. You know, good ride targets, good boosters, just all around good card to have in the deck. So you have 4 copies of Gareth there. I'll just put him just underneath the Bowmains there. And similar to Vivian, another card that I didn't have multiple copies of back then was 4 copies of Halo Shield Mark. So yeah, this was the Zero Shield, the Nullify, the Perfect Guard, whatever terminology you want to give it. Yeah, Mark was definitely a card that I struggled with. I actually got really lucky with Mark, because I think I got 1 copy from a booster box, 1 from a trade, and then 1 from eBay, I think. So yeah, I had about 3, I think, overall, but man, Perfect Guards were just a pain to get back then, and I think any old school Vanguard player will relate to that one. Yeah, Perfect Guards were an absolute pain in the backside to get, but you kind of needed them for your deck, so I was lucky enough to get 3 of them, fortunately. But this Halo Shield Mark is actually the reprint version from the BT09 set, which was the last set for the Limit Break era. But yeah, I did like the newer version just a bit more. I thought the foil, I kind of like just the plain flat foil on it with the new shield icon there. So yeah, 4 marks, Perfect Guards with the deck. So you have 4 of those, and just underneath Vivian as well, which is ironic considering I didn't own multiple copies of those back in the day. But I do now, because we do like to revisit the format every now and then, just for some nostalgia. Then next we have 2 copies of Slagle Dagger. His skill was very simple. If you have 4 or more other Gold Paladin Regards, you can Counterblast 1, and he gets 2,000 power. Yeah, he can just make himself a 9k booster, which is pretty nice. Helps out with making some good rearguard columns, and yeah, just generally a nice card. So I thought I'd put 2 of those in the deck, just a nice card overall. And the remaining grade 1s was a little bit difficult for me to decide on, but I thought about just putting in some singular grade 1s of just ones that I liked. Yeah, these are just ones that I liked, or some that I actually did prefer. So one of them was going to be Player of the Holy Axe Nimue. I don't know why, but I just like Nimue. It's basically just a grade 1 version of Vivian, essentially. But yeah, I just like running one of it. It's just a nice card. It's not great. I don't think you saw it too much in more competitive builds, but yeah, it was a nice one to play in the deck. I put it down there just so you can see the other grade 1s. Another one of the grade 1s that I play is a Charge Gull. This is just the Garmor booster. For a Soul Blast, it gets an additional 5,000 power, and this was a 6k booster, so 6 on the 10 is 16, an extra 5 was 21, and then if you have Garmor's Limit Break, it was 26, so a really good number to hit. So we have 1 copy of him, just to go with Garmor. Then we have the 1 copy of Little Battler Tron, which is just the generic Vanguard booster. If the number of rearguards you have is more than your opponent's, the boosted unit gets 4,000 power. So this basically became a 10k Vanguard booster, essentially, which was very, very nice, very strong. I actually think I ran multiple copies of Tron back then. Just move those over a little bit. But yeah, I think I actually ran multiple Trons back then, because I actually wanted to get him behind the Vanguard for a boost more times than often. And the final one I wanted to put in the deck was Silverfang Witch. Soul Blast 2 when it's placed on rearguard, and you could draw a card. Very simple, but it's just a nice... Again, these are all just like nice cards to play, but I think Little Battler Tron was the one that I played 2 or 3 of, I think, in the deck, just because I wanted to get it behind the Vanguard desperately for that boost. But yeah, I just wanted to put things like Nimue and Charge Gull in the deck as well, just for nostalgia's sake. And then finally, we have the grade 0s. We have Crimson Lion Cub Criff. Yeah, I just love this guy's art. Like, I know I say it a lot with cards, but it's true. You know, I wouldn't say it unless it was true, but I really like Criff's just artwork with the sword on the side. And yeah, I just found this so fun to play, getting the Superior Ride of Ezel back then. And it's really cool to be able to see this guy and also the other pieces that we needed return in the standard format. So yeah, really happy to see Criff back in the game. But yeah, this is the old school Criff, and I think this actually got some pretty spicy interactions in Premium as well, if I remember. But yeah, really, really cool, really fun starter to play back then. I think the other one people were playing was what's he called, Spring Breeze Messenger, I believe. But I was just so much of a fan of the Superior Ride with Criff. I just found it more fun. So yeah, I decided to play him. But yeah, Criff was the starter, of course, and then finally we have the triggers of 4 copies of Silent Punisher. So I think this was the trial deck one. Yeah, it was. So Silent Punisher there for the first critical, and then we have I think a crit that a lot of people who play Gold Paladin are familiar with. 4 copies of Flame of Victory, and this is the exact same Flame of Victory that I picked up all the way back in 2012, because I've only ever owned 4 of these. And these are the exact same 4 that I picked up. So yeah, these have stood the test of time, and I still have them today. So that's really cool there. So 4 Flame of Victories, get a bit tongue-tied. But yeah, I think a lot of triggers were like this, where they were getting the Margle treatment, where you could put it into the soul and then give a unit 3,000 power. So yeah, it was just a nice option to have there, but you mainly just had it there for the additional critical. And then lastly, we have the 4 draw trigger with Weapons Dealer Gwydion. And lastly but not least, the card that I wished looked a bit better was Elixir Similia. I mean, it looks okay, but yeah, I wasn't particularly a fan of this one in terms of the artwork for the heal. But when we moved on to Liberators, like I said in the Liberator Time-Leap, I was so happy with the Liberator heal trigger that I wasn't bothered. I was happy. So yeah, but to give Elixir Similia a bit of credit, the new Elixir Similia in the standard format now looks so good. Like, yeah, if you saw my mail opening that I did, I went on about that, and yeah, I really love the new artwork for Elixir Similia in standard. But yeah, these were the classic triggers back then. There were a couple of other ones as well. I think there was like a Valkyrie sort of draw trigger we had, which I think also had the Margle Clone ability for the soul and then give 3k, and we also had a dog trigger as well for draw. Speeder Hound, I think it was called. But yeah, these are the ones that I decided to play and are the most nostalgic to me. Because Gwydion was also, he also became a Liberator in the Break Ride era. So yeah, that is it for the video, guys. That is my old school classic gold Paladin deck from 2012, and like I said, this was the first ever deck that I built in Vanguard, and yeah, still own it today. We still like to play the old school formats whenever we fancy just a little bit of nostalgia. It's always nice to revisit them. But yeah, like always, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Look forward to maybe one more video for a time leap. Don't know what it could be. Maybe you already know. But yeah, we may have one more time leap to do, which I'm really happy to say that I own. But we'll wait for that one, I think. But we do have plans to do a standard Gold Paladin deck. Still doing some tweaks to the deck here and there. Not completely confident yet to do a deck profile in it. But once I have another week or two in it, I might profile it at some point. But yeah, expect it soon. But in the meantime, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And once again, Merry Christmas to everyone. I hope you have a Happy New Year. And yeah, without further ado, thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. And like always, guys, take care and have a Happy New Year. See you later, guys. Bye.